Okay, so I was scrolling down Instagram and I saw this topic, and it's about polygamy in the black community. Heard this excuse so many times. Like, instead of, if he's going to cheat anyway, why not have polygamy? Why not? There's less black men than black women, so everybody's got to share. And this is one video I scrolled on Instagram.
Environment for the
Oh,
I feel like after the black community does some healing, we should really give polygamy a try. They made things like polygamy really taboo for a reason. Everything they do, every belief they instill in us has a deeper agenda. Think about it. If all the black men with multiple baby mamas started to form a healthy polygamous relationship, imagine the empires and the communities that would be built within the black community instead of having baby mama drama and having a bunch of black people pinned against each other. We have to get the importance of family and building communities back instilled in the black community. In order to be in a healthy polygamous relationship, you have to look at the bigger picture. You have to be willing to build a village, build a community, build a solidarity of wealth, of a healthy environment for the. I'm just gonna say it. I feel like
well, here's the funny thing. TV seems to keep pushing this polygamy agenda, even though polygamy is illegal, plural marriage is illegal, or bigamy. Like, there's been the show Sister Wives. Um, TLC has this show Me and My Ex or something. There's there's a lot of shows where polygamy is even implied. Personally, I don't think relationships are complicated. And I've never understood it. I know people who have been in polygamous relationships, and um, I was having this debate with my mom, and she said she wouldn't mind it because you have another woman there to take care of the kids when you can't. Like, so it's like sister wives. Like, you're connected. You understand that you all have roles to play. When you're tired of him, he can just go somewhere else. If he's gonna end up cheating anyways, he'll just have mistresses. So might as well know who the person is. And this is part of the reason why I don't believe in marriage, because what is commitment? I mean, it's a relationship. Okay, like, think of a ship and a boat, and there's how many passengers on the boat, and you have to get there in one destination, right? So, you, the point is, the end goal is to get to one destination. Now, I know there can be many passengers. There's a whole team. There's a crew, and everybody has to play a role. But what is a village? Why does it have to be? Because there's levels to relationships, right? Why does there need to be multiple people um, for one person? If you can have polygamy, why can't you have polyandry? Polyandry is when a woman has multiple husbands. Why can't you have multiple husbands? Right now, um, in this day and age, polygamy increases the population. One man, many wives. They can be pregnant how many different times. A man can get how many different women pregnant at one time. Polyandry, the woman can only be pregnant by one person for a certain period of time. So it would reduce the population instead of the opposite, polygamy, where it would increase the population. Right now, things are expensive. So, how many men can take care of an entire village, a household of, and have those kids all under one household? Like, how many? When I watch the show Sister Wives, it's like, what do you do? What do you do to support three households? Because he had three wives. He now has four. And what do they do? Because again, so plural marriage, are there plural incomes? Do other people have to work? When they work, do they take care of their family or do they take care of the whole family? Now, what does it mean? If you're an entire family, does the woman get a say into the new woman that you're bringing into the relationship? I mean, people have explored this. Shan Boodram was, or Shan Booty on YouTube, um, was talking about polyamory. She was in an open relationship and she ended up marrying marrying the guy, and they're together. I don't know if it's still like, I don't know if it's an open marriage, but having been in like long term relationships, I haven't necessarily felt the need to cheat. But it was interesting to hear her opinion because she feeds off jealousy, or that's what she was saying um, at the time. So if there's clear communication, I mean, my rights end where your rights begin. So if there's clear communication and everybody's consenting adults, I don't see what the issue is. But I don't think it's a valid excuse to say, oh, the black community, like a blanket statement that they should just start doing this. It's not necessarily advantageous because one, it is illegal to get married to multiple people, and two, do these people do a good job? So if this person is advocating for polygamy, right? So if these men are arguing for polygamy, let's say you have two or three baby mamas. So for example, Nick Cannon has been having a lot of babies by a lot of different women recently. So are you strong enough to maintain each household? Are those children, again, quality of life, their how much time do they get to spend with their father and how much time do they get to spend with their other siblings? And even respect for their mothers, how does that work? Um, Mariah Carey, it doesn't seem like she's with Nick Cannon. I'm not saying that there's no feelings there, but there's no, um, they're not married anymore. So, what is all of this supposed to mean? How is it all supposed to work? Money isn't everything, so time means something. And Nick Cannon has money. Now, the average person, if you have how many households to maintain? So, my parents are divorced. My dad had to work how hard to maintain this household, which he doesn't live in, and the other household. I mean, it would be different. Divorced and co parenting. So, how many people end up in divorce situations? For example, Donald Trump, he had like three wives, not at the same time, but how much effort does it go into maintaining each household? Some men might feel like, well, if there isn't anything in it for me anymore, well, you have children, then why should I I have to take care of this household? I I know people who have practiced polygamy. That some things are competitive. There's like different things because there's feelings involved. People have feelings. It's not just easy to sit there and watch your partner with somebody else, especially if you can't participate too. What happens if you're being emotionally, physically, financially neglected? What do you do? So why I would suggest open marriage as opposed to polygamy is to combat some of these feelings. Um, Again, it takes a village to raise a child. How do you build your village? My mom isn't sleeping with my teacher, right? My mom isn't sleeping with the grocery store clerk. I mean, the we have a community, we have a city. Well, I think the teacher is more accurate because the teacher is how involved in your life, what other people are involved in your life, like coworkers and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't think it's fair to say women should have to share. And again, when it's like you have to versus you want to, I don't think you need to. 7 billion people in this world, you shouldn't have to share. And the slogan of the show was love should be multiplied, not divided. But it's divided amongst, there's three women who get a third of a man. Because when does he see you? Why does he see you? How does he see you? Again, being you're actively and passively involved in each of his relationships. The one woman got in trouble because she had an emotional affair talking to somebody online. He was upset. You had three wives, and you went and you brought another one in. How long were you courting her for? And you're upset because your first wife is talking to somebody else. Not to mention, he was legally married to the first wife. He had to divorce her to marry his last wife. And it's like, oh, you're the first wife, you're the second, you're the third. I mean, it's a number. Is it a rank? How long have you known these people? I personally can't see myself doing it, and I don't think it's the most effective ecosystem. If you see the FDS and Warren Jeffs, he had like 20 wives. Some of them were children, child brides. All this to practice polygamy, and you have to ask yourself, to a certain extent, is it love or is it lust? Is it love or is it lust? Because thinking about it, even dating, even if you're seeing multiple people, I don't think you should be sleeping with multiple people when you're dating, when you're trying to figure things out. But that's my personal opinion. Like, because there's all sorts of risk. It could be STDs and other stuff. Um, how 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 do you maintain all these relationships? Again, like, and dealing with other men coming into the picture. So if you have how many, and this person has none, I I don't know. I don't know. And does it build a stronger community? Well, the Warren Jeffs community was a cult. Um, he's the patriarch. What happens when you start bringing other people into the fold? Like we've seen, some of them have gotten married, and like, where's your village? Because are your kids gonna stay there? Like, do you have a compound? Like, what village are you trying to build in the 21st century? These are the things, like, and if you think, because they keep saying, like, think of economics and think of culture and think of, like, that's the excuse she's using, building stronger communities. China had the one child policy, and China's going through their industrial revolution. They're not known for practicing polygamy. Again, and networking. There's the Jewish community that's also really strong. They're not known for practicing polygamy. Polygamy, I don't know. And I don't know. And how strong a leader does that man have to be to deal with that? Like, you'd have to be one hell of a man to be able to do that. In Islam, you have to be able to provide for each of your wives equally and love them equally. I'm not saying that, I don't see it as, oh, that's an excuse for everybody to go out and be polygamous. I think it might be posed as a question, can you do that? You see, Cain and Abel, God has been known to pick favorites, right? Sometimes based on offerings. Are you able to love all these people equally? I don't know. And plus, do you let people in liking the stress? I mean, people, they cheat. But even in the way some of these people talk, like, oh, you're a side chick and you just go to that person for sex, or you hear her, like, she doesn't complain when she's, like, especially when they're keeping it a secret from the first one. Are you really being respected in the relationship? So what's it like to be number two, number three, number four, right? Because he's complaining about number one. Like, what is it like to be number one? When do you feel like you've already lost? I don't know. Again, so the argument for polyandry, a woman having multiple men. Am I saying that's something I would want to do? No, not necessarily. But if you think about it in terms of economics, would you have multiple incomes? Possibly. Again, children, the 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 fertility rate is lower because how long can you be pregnant at one time carrying, I think they call it the gestation period. Um what else? I don't know. Even dealing with men, like um if you're dealing with three, would you care as much if they cheated? Would you know if they were cheated when you dedicate different amount of time to different people? If one is gone, can you depend on the other one? It seems like it would be a stronger economic house. Gay men, I think they're in a higher economic bracket, they said, because disposable income, because they don't have children. So if you, at that time, they, I don't know. This is something I read a long time ago. But even still, I don't know. It would be interesting to hear you guys' opinions on what you think. Polygamy, do you think it can work? Polyandry, is that something you would consider? Monogamy, do you think monogamy is the be all end all? I'm not sure if everybody was supposed to be monogamous. I don't sure if there's some people who are meant to be polygamous. I don't even believe in marriage because how strong is it as an institution? I mean, I don't know. I've known people who have and committed adultery, got divorced, and then remarried, and their marriages appear strong from the outside. Now, is that to say that there's no more adultery? Well, and how do you put that in? There's different things in the Bible because you have Joseph, Mary and Joseph. He wasn't practicing polygamy. You had Adam and Eve. They weren't practicing polygamy. Like, you have to ask yourself which stories. Who was practicing polygamy? Why were they practicing polygamy? How were they doing it? Is it appropriate? Is it acceptable? If you agree with polygamy, could you be open about it? Like, could you imagine like going up to a coworker and saying, "Oh, these are my wives"? I don't know. This is something I'm interested in hearing from you guys.